Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Mindful Monday. Today we're here to talk about quick and easy ways to let go of attachments, to live with grace and ease. So attachments can be anything. It can be people, it can be habits, it can be different things. So I made a list of some things to talk about here. The first one is that part of being human is we're going to have things that come up, we're going to have challenges. So the next thing is that you want to just allow yourself some space and honor yourself by not really comparing yourself to others when things do go awry. We also want to let ourselves feel our emotions. When you stuff your emotions, that's where dis-ease comes from. So you want to make sure that you're healthily expressing your emotions, whether that be journaling, whether it's screaming into a pillow in private at your house, something like that, not taking it out on other people, of course. You want to make sure that you're not getting stuck in your mind and ruminating about the past. I should have done this, I could have done this. The past is gone forever and the future's not even here yet. So all we have is this present moment, and that's where we need to kind of rein ourselves in. So a lot of different open focus techniques, like the Betty Erickson one that we talked about last week, can help bring you into the present moment awareness. You want to make sure that you're not taking the focus off of what you don't want. Too many people are like, I don't want this, I don't want that. And you want to focus on what it is you do want. So keep in mind too, one of my favorite yoga teachers used to say that if you do create space, if you let go of something or someone, you're going to fill that space. So it's really important that we be aware of the things that we do want more of, so that we don't just automatically fill a space. If it's a bad habit, you might fill it with another bad habit. Or if it's a problem kind of relationship, you might fill it with the same kind of problem relationship. So we want to make sure that we're aware of what we do want and we're filling our lives with that kind of stuff, whether it be people, things, etc., etc. Another thing is you want to listen to your intuition. A lot of folks just don't trust their gut, and sometimes I don't trust my gut, and I always live to regret it. Our intuition is connected to our mind, to our heart, to our soul, so we want to really listen to our intuition. Be a warrior, not a worrier. If you're sitting around worrying, you're not really doing anything. It's that going into the past and the future kind of thing. So I love this little phrase. I forget where exactly I got it, but be a warrior. Go out there and do things. If you fall down on your butt, well, you'll get back up. If you're just sitting around worrying, you're not getting anything accomplished. You also want to make or consider making your life changes in an opinion to not make them so serious. I mean, sometimes there are serious, not serious and severe, not everything. So don't take yourself so seriously. Kind of go with the flow. Of course, there are certain life decisions that are serious. And so when it comes to those kind of things, the really serious things, relationships, job changes kind of thing, then you might want to pause and kind of find your center before you make a decision. So that's not the time to jump and make decisions. So anytime you're in doubt, of course, pause, reflect, and meditate. Meditation is a great lifesaver. You also can consider taking, I'll call it like a weekend detox. So if things are coming up and you feel like you're kind of out of alignment with things, or you're contemplating big changes, you can take a weekend and just really detox from whether it be sugar, bad habits, people. Maybe you even do a silent kind of retreat, get away from electronics, so that you really just have the time to focus on the things that you want to focus on and what you might want to be pulling into your life, especially with the new year coming. And then we really want to learn to let go of the things that are not serving us. In Buddhism practices, they say the second noble truth is the origin of suffering is attachment. And so, of course, in this world, we do like to have things and people, and we get attached to them. And we kind of like to cling to them sometimes, even if it's not the healthiest thing. Another thing we can do is practice gratitude. Gratitude changes your neural pathways in your brain, and it really helps you to focus on the things that are beneficial to you. And of course, practice self-compassion. Krista Neff is a great teacher on that. So too many times we do make a quick decision and then we end up beating ourselves up forever and ever. So those are my little quick tips on that. If you're brand new to Mindful Monday, You're welcome to type into the comments where you're coming from. If you have any questions, of course, we'll see this whether you're here live or watching the recording. And if you have any topic suggestions, we always like to hear about those. So for the rest of this short session, I thought I would do, I don't always do this, I thought I would do a little meditation for us. So of course, if you're driving a motor vehicle, operating heavy machinery, involved in childcare, maybe you tune out for a little bit and watch this later. But if you are available, this is going to be, it's called the Shelf Meditation, and it is by Joseph Lepage. He was one of my former teachers up at Kripalu's School of Integrative Yoga Therapy, so he's kind of brilliant. And there is a YouTube, you could always watch that too. But for now, if you're able to follow along, I'll just kind of invite you to take a few of those nice, deep, relaxing breaths. And then let your eyes close down. And you can continue to breathe nice and deeply here. I'd like you to begin by visualizing a shelf. And you can give this shelf a label or a name. Maybe it's everything in my life that changes, etc. And remember that you'll be able to reclaim everything that I'm going to ask you to place on the shelf at the end of this meditation. But your attitude toward those things will have changed. So this is a way of kind of getting in touch with the things that are most important to us. So begin by placing on that shelf an image of, if you're a woman, a purse, or your wallet, if you're a man, everything that's symbolically connected to your identity though. Your name, your address, your phone number, your email. Just place all of that on the shelf. And as you're doing so, notice that everything related to your identity can be placed on the shelf. Yet you are still here, independent of those identities. Good. Now I'm going to invite you to place on the shelf an image of all of your friends, your family, and remember, you're just taking a little vacation from them. You'll be able to return to them at the end of this exercise. But placing friends and family onto your shelf now. And notice that although they may be very dear to you, you are still independent of them. Good. And now I'm going to ask you to next place on the shelf all of your life experiences up to this point. Every single one. This includes the joys, the sorrows, the good times, the bad times, all of your experiences. Just take you a moment placing those onto the shelf as well. And as you do so, notice that they too can be independent objects for you to observe. You can observe also that the way you perceive these experiences may be different from the way you perceived them at the time they occurred. Good. And then finally, I'm going to ask you to place an image of your own body on the shelf and look at yourself from outside of your body. And notice that even your body can be an object for you to observe. That's right, good. And now notice that everything that is on the shelf is in a constant state of change. If there's one thing that's constant in life, it's change. And everything on the shelf is in the state of change, whether it be friends or family, possessions, along with your own body. They're all changing over time. And now see the one who is observing everything on the shelf. And try to place that observer onto your shelf. So first you may discover that the observer cannot be placed in space or in time like everything else on the shelf. And second, you might find that this observer sticks like glue. No matter how hard you try to place the observer on the shelf, the observer remains as the center of yourself, nearer to you than even your own body. And now sense the qualities of this observer, the reality of this observer, what we call consciousness. First of all, notice that this is not separate from the rest of existence. The world around you and the objects on the shelf are all parts of the same consciousness. And this truth of unity, in which everything is a part of a single whole, is what in yoga we might call sat, meaning truth. More exactly, it means the truth of who I am, which is whole. And now notice, unlike everything on the shelf, this awareness or consciousness is unlimited. It's not limited by space because it can't be instead to live in the body, since the body is over on the shelf. And it's also not limited by time, because in the few minutes you've been doing this exercise, everything on the shelf has already changed. But this awareness, this consciousness of those changes has not changed. And notice all the limitations that affect every aspect of life on the shelf, limitations in terms of talent or intelligence or even possessions. They don't exist in consciousness. Its nature is limitlessness. And this limitlessness is sometimes called chit in yogic terms, which means consciousness. And now notice that this consciousness, which is not separate and not limited, is whole and happy by its very nature. This consciousness may certainly choose to participate in any aspect of life on the shelf, but its sense of satisfaction, of peace, and joy is innate. It's intrinsic. It doesn't depend on any interactions with the objects on the shelf for its sense of wholeness and happiness. This essential intrinsic happiness is sometimes called ananda or bliss. So just allow yourself to feel this sense of wholeness now within your being. And you might notice if there's a color associated with it. And just allow this sense of wholeness together with the color, if there is one, to expand throughout your entire being. Know that this union with all that exists and this freedom from limitation is your very true nature. You are that wholeness. And so rest in this wholeness for a moment or two, and if you'd like to anchor into it, you can name this feeling. You might name it wholeness or bliss, and take a nice deep breath in. If you want to touch your middle fingers to your thumbs as you do so, and exhale and think your word or phrase. And you can do that 2 more times. Another big breath in, anchoring it into your physiology. Exhale and think or say your word or phrase. And one final time, another deep breath in, fingers touching. Exhale, and you can think and say your word or phrase. And then you can slowly begin to come back, and as you do begin to return, perhaps take some time to reflect on your relationship with everything that is on the shelf. If union, freedom from limitation, and joy are your very true nature, what is that nature of your relationship with everything else on that shelf? Where should you place your priorities? And what is the highest and truest meaning of everything in your life? What changes would you make to your daily life to bring it more into alignment with this vision? And you can reflect on this for several minutes or journal upon it if you wish, if you want to reach out and let me know if you have any great thoughts. But that's all that we have for today. I thought that was a nice little meditation. Of course, if you write mindful in the chat or the comment box, whether you're watching now or later, then of course we'll send you the link to get a free recording and our weekly PDF cheat sheets that come out Sundays with all of the little bullet points that we talk about in these Mindful Mondays. So make it a great day, and thanks so much. Take care.